Sony Xperia 1 versus OnePlus 7 Pro speed test. Coming up, let's go. So what is up guys, Nick here helping you to master your technology, and welcome to the Sony Xperia 1 versus OnePlus 7 Pro speed test. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, 1 and see which one can get there first. Now this is the 12GB of RAM OnePlus 7 Pro, 6GB of RAM Sony Xperia 1. That's pretty much the only option right now. This also comes in 6GB of RAM, but you're gonna see in the speed test that doesn't really make too much of a difference, as it's kind of enough for the Sony Xperia 1 with its kind of stock like Android, and you can see it boots up over the OnePlus 7 Pro. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a fingerprint scanner test. Now I just moved them over to different sides just for this one because Sony has decided to put the fingerprint on the right side. So if you're a lefty, reaching your thumb all the way over to this side is just a little bit awkward. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do this fingerprint test with the Sony on the right side. Let's go ahead and do it now in 3, 2, 1. And you can see the OnePlus a little bit faster, even though it's under the display. 3, 2, 1. And you can see it missed there, but you can miss a little bit on the OnePlus 7 Pro. One more time, 3, 2, 1. And you can see once you do get it though, it's really fast on the 7 Pro. So I would say the fingerprint, while it isn't a physical one like on the Sony Xperia 1, it's a little bit faster, just slightly to the 7 Pro, not too much though. So let's quickly confirm the software here. We have Android 9 Pie on the Sony Xperia 1. Over here we have Android 9 Pie on the OnePlus 7 Pro as well. This is the 12GB of RAM model, so twice the RAM, so it could be a little bit unfair, but at the same time, I don't think it really matters because I haven't been seeing the OnePlus 7 Pro really need that much RAM. It might be overkill on this device. So let's get into the application test. Okay guys, so we've arrived at the application portion of this speed test. You can see Sony Xperia 1 on the left, OnePlus 7 Pro on the right. Let's go ahead and close everything out on both devices. Let's begin with Instagram, 3, 2, 1. And you can see that goes to the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now I left the animations on default. That means 1x across the transition animations as well as the animation duration scale and others. Let's go into Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And you can see Twitter goes to the right on the OnePlus 7 Pro, but you can see the Sony's keeping up pretty good here against this OnePlus 7 Pro. Let's go into Pandora, and you can see this is going to, that look like slightly to the 7 Pro. This does have the 855 just like this, so the same CPU. Let's come home, and you can see that Oxygen OS with the 90 Hz display is just super smooth in pretty much everything it does. Let's go into Best Buy, see which one gets there first. And that one goes to the Sony Xperia 1. So you can see this is definitely the most powerful Sony phone ever. Let's go into eBay, 3, 2, 1. And you can see eBay opened up first there. It looked like the Sony, I'm not exactly sure. I didn't see that one too well. Let me know down below in the comments. Let's go into Amazon, 3, 2, 1. And you can see Amazon first for the 7 Pro coming home. They're both pretty much the same coming home, but the Sony's animation just not as smooth coming back home. Let's go into Pixlr. And you can see Pixlr looked like it jumped on the 7 Pro, so I'll give it to the 7 Pro. Let's go into Video Shop, and you can see Video Shop to the Sony on the left. Let's go into Subway Surfers, and you can see Fanatic mode on. This also has its own gaming mode as well that enhances the performance, but the 7 Pro took the Sony there. But I gotta tell you, the Sony is super smooth when it comes to gameplay. They really hooked this phone up with some really smooth gameplay. So if you like playing games, you'll like how smooth the frame rates are on the Sony. Go into Temple Run, 3, 2, 1, and see which one can get there first. Both of these are very fast, but the 7 Pro says not today, Xperia 1. Let's go hit play, and you can see pretty much when you're in the game, it doesn't really matter. So we're talking about just milliseconds here on the OnePlus 7 Pro for the win. And I think if the Sony would have maybe just a little bit faster animations, maybe a little bit more RAM, it might keep up a little bit better. So let's go into the next game, 3, 2, 1. And you can see OnePlus 7 Pro ahead once again. Let's hit play. Now, this is so slight though, so if you are thinking about buying one of these, I probably wouldn't make my decision just on performance. They're both neck and neck here. So it's actually, the Sony's actually doing a good job for having twice less RAM. Let's go into PUBG Mobile, 3, 2, 1. And you can see both of them pretty much going at the same pace right now, not too far different on either side. And it looks like the OnePlus 7 Pro again showing its power. Definitely going to the 7 Pro here. Sony right on its heels though, so I mean, these are really close. It's not gonna be a deal breaker to get the Sony just because of a little bit better performance here on the 7 Pro, but what's crazy is that the Sony is more than the 7 Pro, and the 7 Pro is faster so far. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. The 7 Pro is the fastest Android phone I've seen all year, and I think overall it was pretty much quicker in these single round of applications right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a RAM management test to see if the Sony reloads anything. We'll begin with PUBG Mobile. It's good there, and I don't think it will because it's got a stock like Android experience, but a little bit of a pause there, nothing too serious. Let's go into Subway Surfers, that's good to go. Let's go into Video Shop. Let's go into Pixlr. Let's go into Amazon, eBay, Best Buy, Pandora. That just has to re-listen for the song. The OnePlus is gonna do that as well. Twitter and Instagram. So pretty good there on RAM management. Not bad on the Sony. Let's go into PUBG Mobile, and I expect this to be super smooth as always with the OnePlus 7 Pro. And you see, just look at these animations, just very smooth for this device. So if you're looking for the performance champ, you gotta look no further than OnePlus 7 Pro. Let's go into Pandora. You see how it's listening again, so that's not really a reload. Instagram, there we go. So they weren't that much different, but again, it's just a little bit ahead again for the 7 Pro. Okay guys, so I did the same 30-second video on both of them. We're gonna go ahead and see which one can render this pretty easy project out, but just see which one can do it faster. Let's go ahead and save it to the gallery, 3, 2, and 1, and see which one can do this first. So you can see the OnePlus 7 Pro uploads that video, I would say pretty decently faster than the Xperia 1. So again, when it comes to video rendering, uploading, the OnePlus 7 Pro, again, more powerful. So here we are with the final Geekbench results, and you can see that the Xperia 1 actually got a higher single core than the 7 Pro, but way behind on the multi-core. That's probably due to the 12 gigabytes of RAM, but you can see they're pretty much neck and neck overall if you really look at it on Geekbench. So not a huge disparity there. At the end of the day, I feel like these are pretty close in performance, even though this has 6 gigabytes of RAM. The OnePlus 7 Pro is just simply smoother and a little bit snappier with those animations. So still, I'm gonna give the win to the 7 Pro. It just feels like the faster phone of the two and smoother phone to use on the day-to-day. But this Sony Xperia 1 is no slouch, and it's still plenty fast and much faster than a lot of phones out there. So definitely respectable performance. If you guys found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click that like button for me. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.